What's up? I'm here with Nicovi, the myth, the legend.
Oh, please.
What's going on? How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, Rohan, I'm doing good. Just another day in paradise. So,
Yeah, it's been a while, right? It's been a while.
yes, it's been a very, very long time. But I think about you often, believe it or not. So,
You can just text me when you know what I'm saying. You can just text
I
it
know,
to.
but we get busy in our lives, but I'm going to do better. I'm going to be a better friend. So,
Okay, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So
mhm.
yeah, man, everybody wants to know about you and your success and how you did it at such a young age. And I was like, sheesh. So I appreciate you jumping on this impromptu conversation. And I wonder if you want to just start with your like backstory, like where you're from and blah blah blah. Like,
Okay. So, where I'm from, my family's from Jamaica. My mom is 100% Jamaican. My dad's 100% Indian, and they made little old me. And I was born in California, just kind of living my best life. And obviously, I'm sure, some people know I worked for you. You were my very first job, I think, out of high school, pretty much. So I got super lucky and got a great job in customer service in a maid business. And I mean, I think I was a pretty good employee. I don't know. I guess we'll let Rohan tell it. um,
you you were you were great, and then you had your moments, and then you were great, and you had your moments. Yes.
Right, just young. I'm literally like 18 years old, went
Mhm.
to high school, did my thing. And decided not to go to college. I dropped out of college just
Mhm.
because it was hard to balance working and going to school and trying to build a life for myself. So I got a job with Rohan at his maid company, Maids in Black. My job was to do customer service. And I ended up just really liking I think the family unit of it. I would always just kind of run around the office asking everybody what they're doing. You had your own projects going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would stay late and just kind of be nosy and see the different things you were working on outside of my job role. And then I pretty much ended up not working with you after like 2 years or so. And I was kind of a stay-at-home girlfriend for a little bit. I met my now husband, and I was bored. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I can't stay here all the home all the time. And I just figured I'd start it. I mean, I wish it was some really cool story, but I was like, okay, what do I know how to do? And I only had one skill set, which was working with Rohan and the maid company. So I just decided I was going to start my own. So I think sometimes people think it's some amazing, like, come to like Christ moment, but it's just kind of like, okay, I know how to do this. I mean, I thought I was pretty good at my job at that time, and I got to see the insight of what happened. Not only on the customer service side, but on your end as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
just
true.
decided to, just take a leap and figure it out. So
Wow. I actually didn't know some of this backstory. I didn't know that part of how you were thinking about it. Okay. So that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Okay.
so that's
Hmm.
that's pretty much it. I mean, and then of course and the thing is, you see a business how it's done. I seen how you had Maids in Black set up and how you operated it, but of course we're in different states, and it's very different. So the way maybe I operated in Maids in Black was different than how I operated with Granby Maids,
Hmm.
just because the market is different, the clientele is different. It's just a different
Hmm.
place altogether. So I had
Hmm.
my own moments where I'm like, this is not like what I'm used to. So I had to go
Yeah.
about it a completely different way,
Hmm.
like working with property managers and property management companies and more business to business
Hmm.
accounts. And that's kind of more what I specialize in versus, you had a large following of clients, just regular residential at the
Yeah,
time.
that's true. Yeah.
So,
So my question is, what made you feel you could do it? Like, what gave you the confidence to be like, yo, I can figure this out? You know?
the confidence, I think that, sorry, I had a pop up. Oh
Yeah.
no, did I lose you?
No, no, I'm here.
Okay, the confidence just came from just me believing in myself. I mean, I just feel like what's the worst that can happen? I really didn't have
Mhm.
much thought into it. I wasn't doing anything at the time. So I knew how to do it. So how could I fail in my head? Because I did it every
Mhm.
day and somebody was paying me. So I thought,
Yeah.
like, what would stop me if I'm the one paying myself and I have the whole world, the world is my oyster. I can do it. It
Yeah.
was overhead from, and just working with you, I learned all of these things, of course, that it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a super high overhead in the way we, at the time, how you established it. I just didn't see why I couldn't do it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it.
Okay. No, no, it makes sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense completely. So what would you say if you were to think back? What would you say were like some of your biggest challenges when you were starting out? Because you did come in with some background knowledge and some background
Right.
experience with operations, but still
Right.
you're on your own. You don't have a real hand to come to ask, knock on my door
Right.
or anything. So like, how did you navigate your initial challenges?
So I would say a big challenge for me in the beginning was, of course, getting the clients, because I went about it the way that I knew, which is the residential side. So that was very challenging for me, spending a lot of money on those different sites to generate
Mm-hmm.
leads, and um, that was kind of my biggest challenge, is just getting those first initial clients.
Yeah.
And then that's when I realized, okay, this residential thing isn't working for me. I'm paying for all these leads, and maybe only a certain amount will hit, and then it just wasn't making sense in that
Mm-hmm.
manner. So that's when I decided to pivot and think of different ways that I could maybe just go after one client. They can give me a bunch of houses. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a huge shifting point for me, because I was really struggling with getting the clientele, where I'm used to people just calling us all the day and we all the time, and I couldn't even get them on the schedule. So that
Yeah.
was shift for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So at that point, you were like, you know what? Let me kind of shift into like more property managers and realtors.
Yeah.
But where did that idea come from? Or just the ability to be flexible and to like maneuver and change course and like, is that like part of your personality in general? You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm
I
trying to
think
figure
that's
out.
part of my personality in general. I'm naturally just kind of like, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to try something else. I feel
Mhm.
like also when of course, I think not every entrepreneur, but a lot kind of come from nothing and are very resourceful and can kind of be quick on their feet. So
Mhm.
at the time, me and my boyfriend, now husband, we were living in a townhome that we were renting from a
Mhm.
property management company. And then when we were
Mhm.
moving out, they were saying, oh, you had to get a professional cleaning done. Here are some vendors. And that's what sparked it for me. I'm like, okay, they have preferred vendors. So how do I get a part of that? And I literally just called the company and would say, okay, how do I get in on this? What do I have to do? And I just made sure I was the best one and the quickest one to compete
Mhm.
against the other existing vendors.
Wow, you just taught me something.
Yeah.
You just taught me something, and you're right. They do have these preferred vendor lists.
Yeah, so they want you to get their cleaning done by their carpet cleaners, their home cleaners, their pest control. They have a whole list when you're done with a lot of these property management companies, and that's
Mhm.
pretty much it. And literally, after I got that one account, they were giving me anywhere from 30 to 50 homes a month, and that was when I started seeing, six figures in my business. Was that shift of just making that phone call?
So we had a little technical issues, but we're still here. Thanks for jumping back on. So another question I had for you, Nicovi, if you were starting now from scratch,
Hmm.
what would you do differently if you were a completely new entrepreneur? Like,
I would stop trying to be so perfect. That's what I would do, because at first, I when I first started, I physically did the cleanings. I didn't have
mhm,
people doing the cleanings when I originally started. So I think
okay.
that held me back and kind of stopped my growth for a little bit, because I was trying to do everything myself. And then even when I did get the staff, I wanted to go to every house. I wanted to make sure everything was done. I wanted to make sure the checklist was to the T, because I was so focused, like hyper focused on being the best cleaner and being the number one vendor with the
Mhm,
different companies I was working with. So for me, and it's something I'm still working on, is learning how to release that control.
mhm,
So I can, like you say, it's always better to do you want to be a large, like mediocre company, or do you want to be like a perfect small company? So that's like the main thing
mhm.
for me that I would do different.
Yeah. No, I like that because a lot of people do suffer from that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be a 5 star all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You can do that and just do like two jobs a day for the next 20 years.
Right, exactly.
Or, or you can do 200 jobs per day, change your family's life completely, and be
Yeah.
4.5 stars. Like, you decide.
Right. So I
So
think just
that's
being in your
more.
own head is the main thing. Like being in your
Mhm,
own head, and when you're like prompted to move and just do something, you have to just do it. You can't sit on it for 2, 3 days. Like if I would have
mhm,
done that with the when that idea sparked in my head and I would have waited, who knows if I would have
mhm,
ever reached out to that company if I didn't act on it right then and there.
mhm. Okay, so no, I like that. So where did you get that from? Like, where did you get this? 'Cause I'm really curious about the personality traits that entrepreneurs have. Like,
Hmm.
where did you get that feeling? Like, you know what, I have to be decisive and take action now. Like, has that been how you've been your whole time, or did you figure that out to become an entrepreneur?
No, I don't think I was like that because when I was working for someone else, I wasn't like that because it's not
Mhm.
you're gonna get paid no matter what. You get very comfortable. There's
Mhm.
no incentive for you to really like do things right then and there. But when you see the possibilities out there and what you can really do for yourself,
Yeah,
then you have more urgency, of course, because you're doing everything for
yeah,
you. If you don't move, you're not getting paid. I was tired. I was you know tired of doing low numbers and being like, what am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? So that's what
hmm,
prompted me to like, okay, I'm willing to try anything at this point because what I'm doing right now is making me a couple $1,000, but this is not what I want to do.
yeah, yeah. No, I got you. I got you. I got you. How was your family as far as a support system when you were getting started?
So my family was very supportive, thank God. I had a very supportive system. My husband especially was very supportive. He was like,
Mhm.
whatever you want to do, like let's do it. We'll spend the money, we'll invest in it. So I think that helps having a partner. But I also
Wow.
isolated myself as well during that time from friends and outside family just because people
Mhm.
can have negative comments about what you're doing
Mhm.
or may not understand it. And it's not their fault.
Mhm.
They're just thinking in a
Mhm.
different way than you
Mhm.
are. So
Yeah.
sometimes sharing those ideas can make you doubt yourself. You're not gonna you know yourself better than anyone. So when you have that thought, you have to trust it. You cannot listen to outsiders. So I did have to kind of
Mhm.
like lock in when I was trying to make it a reality.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. But it was good that your husband had your back and was
My
like, "Yo, we're gonna
in-house
figure it."
support, yeah, my in-house support was super supportive. So
Yeah.
I think that played a big role in my like on our success, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, you could go back and be like, "See, I told you so. I
exactly.
told you." No, that's awesome. Okay. 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 So you're telling me that you've started some additional projects. So what I've realized is a lot of people that build these businesses, they end up going on to do additional things. We
Hmm.
got people that have started supermarkets and restaurants and home siding and refurbish, like all these businesses. So I
Right.
was chatting with Nicovi yesterday, and you were telling me about the new projects that you've started.
Yeah, I think once you've been through the fire with one thing, you're like, I can do anything. Once
Yeah.
you're like about to break down and you think you've lost it all, but you bounce back the next day, you kind of build in a resistance to anything. So, my husband got an opportunity to be an investor for a collision shop for
Hmm.
automotive repair, body work, painting, things like that. And we have no experience in that at all. But I was like, okay, let's do it. We were just supposed to be investors. We weren't actually supposed to do any of the work or anything like that. And then the guy that was supposed to run the shop ended up, unfortunately, running into some health issues and wasn't able to follow through with it. So we were stuck with the
Hmm.
body shop, didn't know anything
Hmm.
about it, what to do, how to do bondo, any of that stuff. And we just went in there, and I'm like, okay, went in there the first day. All right, guys, we're not doing any more clients. We're going to be vendors for rental car companies. So, same concept that I do with my maid business, we just transferred it, and the profit margins are way better in the collision center. So, you're talking about, multiple six figures in a year and then doing that per month. So, it's a shift, but you're doing the same thing just on a bigger scale.
Ooh, I have to talk to you after this. Off the call. This is fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm really happy, I'm happy for you, Nicole. I really am.
Thank you.
Um, I like that. Once you've been through the fire and you realize that under your worst days, when you think things are your life is over, you
Yeah.
wake up the next day and things just the
It's another
sun still
day.
comes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
try to tell people. I tell people that all the time. Like, bro, like you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once you get through it, then you have confidence now. You collision shop. And you were telling me about something else too as well. I don't know if you want to share it yet or.
Yeah, so this one is in the works. It's not operating. Like the collision center's been
Mhm.
open, I think, going on 3 years now. So we put some time into that. But my stepfather, he's been in construction for like 30 plus years. So now I'm
Mhm.
moving into like kind of the government contract space and educating myself on
Mhm.
that as a woman owned business and minority owned.
Ooh.
So he was
Ooh.
kind of like, okay, you know what you're doing. Let me intern you for a couple years, take your test, which I passed, and now
Mhm.
we're going through the state to get my licensing all done, and we're
Mhm.
gonna have our construction company, and it's gonna be women owned and minority owned, and that's once again, I know nothing about construction, so this is gonna be a fun adventure that I'm
Mhm.
learning about. But like, literally, people underestimate how we're literally such smart creatures if we just sit and take the time and just give ourselves the opportunity. Like when an opportunity presents itself, if you just
Mhm.
go after it, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like you should say that one more time because this is going to be the highlight of this entire call. People underestimate that we are smart creatures
Yeah.
and we can figure things out as opportunities present themselves. Damn.
Yeah, because I could have been like, I'm too busy. I already have this. I have a maid business. I have a collision center. I still,
Yeah.
take care of my household. I recently
Mhm.
got married. We just bought a new home. So life is going on no matter what. But if someone's
Mhm.
willing to step up and say, let's do this, I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go to school and take the time to do it,
Mhm.
because you just never know what can happen. So I'd rather just do it and know what happens and
Yeah.
know that outcome versus like wondering what if and just doing the same thing every day. We're meant to do
Yeah.
more and more and more each year. You shouldn't be looking back at the end of each year, at the end of each month, and doing the same thing you were doing the previous. You have to see that change, or you'll go cuckoo.
Yeah. This is going to be another. You're dropping gems, yo. This is going to be another highlight. So I'm thinking, like, based on how you're going, like, soon I'm going to be working for you. If I can get a gig at, like, the collision joint or the new
Oh my,
construction company, you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and
No,
it's
it's
just
fantastic.
literally I watch podcasts all the time and just having in
Mhm.
the background sometimes, of course I can't always sit and watch one, but I'll go and look and listen to different things, and that's how I even triggered that thought process of the government contracts. That's a new sphere for me too.
Yeah.
So just learning all of that as I go. I don't need to know
Mhm.
all of it, but they have free, with the SBA, they have a lot of free mentorship there for you too. If you have questions
Mhm.
to guide you,
Yeah.
what you need to do.
That's
So you don't need to have all the answers because I don't.
right. Right. No, this is true. And that's the same thing that you used to do with the maid business. I remember you used to go with the Chamber of Commerce and you would go learn from those
Hmm.
ladies. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then I
Okay.
realized out, and the thing is, you have to try stuff because you wait, not wait. It's never a waste of money because the Chamber of Commerce, I was doing that to get my foot in the door, but that ended up not being a super, like I didn't get a lot of promotion through that avenue of like marketing myself. So you have to just try it. Okay, this worked, this didn't, and then pivot and try something different.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. All right. So I don't want to hold you too long. I do appreciate you jumping on a call that we were just texting yesterday, and you're like, yeah, let me jump on.
Yeah, of course.
I have a random question.
Okay.
So, and it's about fear.
Okay.
So when you do all these amazing things that you've done over the last couple of years, like you've done some amazing things. You've done amazing things that a lot of people your age have not even thought about, right? You've
Hmm.
already accomplished it.
Hmm.
Are you not afraid? Or are you afraid but you still take action? Or like how do you think how do you being you're an immigrant to the country, you're a woman, you're a minority, you have all these things that are supposed to count against you, but you
Hmm.
just like move forward. Like how? That's my question. Are you afraid? Are you not afraid? Are you afraid but you don't care about fear? Like how do you process that? Yeah.
I'm scared right now. I'm always scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know,
It's funny.
I'm literally like I was at the shop earlier today, so I'm scared and I'm scared. But I can't go backwards, and now I have people that depend on me, so that makes it's more pressure on you too. But I'm definitely scared. But everything always works out. There's been times where it's scary. You're like, did I do all of this for nothing? Is, you get to a certain place where you'll have amazing months for 6 months and then you'll have a slow month and
Hmm.
you're like, what's going on?
Hmm.
You know?
Yep, yep,
So
I've been there.
it's always scary and it's never going to change, but I just make the decision. Even if I have a mental breakdown and go cry and eat bonbons for the night and reset tomorrow, that's what I have to do. Because
I've been there too.
you just have no choice. At that point, I just feel like you literally have no choice because what are you going to do? You're going to
Yeah.
go back to what you were doing before,
No, I
right?
feel you. I feel you.
So
It's
I'm
fantastic.
scared, Rohan.
Yeah. I tell people, even though I've built so many businesses,
Hmm.
it's always, there's no guarantees, right? You always have this feeling in the back of your mind, it can all fall apart, blah, 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 blah. But you just go.
Yeah.
So,
And it's I wanted to say this too, and maybe ask you this if you've seen this with different people you've worked with. Do you ever meet people, right? Like for example, you met me when I was at a young age. Do you ever meet people and see like, okay, this person has traits to be an entrepreneur, this person doesn't, or do you feel like just anybody could be an entrepreneur?
I was talking to Christina about that this morning. Christina Tegby from 54 Thrones. You know her?
I
I
don't
don't know if
know,
you
but
know
I
her.
think I've seen her in the threads and stuff like that.
Yeah, yes. I was talking to her this morning about this. And we came to the conclusion that it's both. There are
Okay.
people that they seem to be born with an action-oriented personality,
Mm-hmm.
where they will take action and then figure stuff out afterwards.
Right.
So those people are like ready to go. And then there are other people that they need to dot all the I's, they need to cross all the T's, but they're also very diligent. Like they will do it day one and day two and day three and day four, and they're going to keep going. So those people are fine too. It's just a different type of entrepreneur.
Hmm.
Um, so I do feel to answer your question more directly, there are some people that they're just born for this.
Right.
And then there's some people that they have the skill set and the diligence and the work ethic to turn themselves into what is needed to become an entrepreneur. So I think
Okay.
it's both, but I'm curious about what you think. Like what do you think?
I think either you are or you aren't.
Hmm. Okay.
Just because it's not that it's impossible, but it's very hard to build that mental strength.
Hmm.
So you can, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think for majority
Hmm.
of entrepreneurs, they either have that in them, and it doesn't have to be with business, but they have that in them, or they don't. Um, so that's just what I think. It's just something I've thought about
Hmm.
recently with different people that because they know I own a couple businesses, they'll come and talk to me.
Yeah.
So
But did you know before your first business that you had it in you?
no.
Hmm.
I didn't because I was I didn't know I had it in me, but I don't know. But I just think I don't know. That's a good question. Now I'm stuck because
Hmm.
I don't think I showed traits of someone that could have been one. I think I had a great personality. I was outgoing. I was a people person.
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't make
Yes.
you an entrepreneur. That doesn't give you the discipline,
Yeah.
to be an entrepreneur. But then
Yeah.
again, I was also 18, so was
You
I
were super
fully
young. That's true.
developed, too? So I really don't know.
Mm. But maybe you had it in you the whole time, but you
Right.
just had to kind of like grow into it.
Right. Like I kind of like
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice at that time. It was that or nothing. So I
Yeah.
adapt or die pretty much. Like, okay, I'm gonna be miserable and depressed at home and bored. There's only so much
Yeah.
tennis you could play, Rohan.
Yeah. This is true. This is No, I agree. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, you did it. You did it. I mean, not you did it. You're doing it. It's an
Yeah,
ongoing process, right?
you're right.
And you're getting better. You're going after bigger challenges. Next time I talk, you're gonna be like, yeah, so I'm doing airport development. We're
Right.
developing a chain of airports across the western side of the country. I'd be like, damn, Nicovi. But you can do
Exactly.
it.
Boring, the more boring, the better. Because all my
Yeah,
friends try to start clothing lines and this and makeup brands, and not that it's impossible, but it is more challenging. If
yeah,
if I could give any advice to anyone, it'd just be construction is not cute. I go to the shop and I'm wearing cute pink outfits, but nothing about that business is
yeah.
sexy or anything like that.
So okay, so I think that's a good place for us to stop. So for you to explain that a little bit more, because I say the same thing. People look
Hmm.
at me like I'm crazy. So
Yeah.
so can you talk about the sexy versus boring businesses?
Yeah, because the boring businesses are gonna we're gonna need it no matter what, you know. It's not
Hmm.
necessarily it's there was this because I used to do Mary Kay when I was obviously like when I was a
Yep.
teenager and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And that was a fun, glamorous business, lipsticks, makeup, whatever like that. But you could see the shift, different seasons and different things like that, where it'd be kind of slow, up, down, based on like the market or what's going on in the world. But with cleaning, people are always going to need cleaning, especially when you're dealing with a company. Collision, Florida is one of the biggest collision rates in the United States. So you're always going to need that. Construction, those things are always happening. So I always say boring because it's kind of like a way of life, But if you're
Hmm.
creating a t shirt brand that has cool, sayings on it, yes, not saying you can't be successful, you definitely can, but you have more odds. The odds are more in your favor if it's just straight to the point, simple, and a date, like it's a necessity. So that's kind of how
Yeah.
I.
Yes, it's how I think as well. And I've been trying to tell, they don't listen to me, Nicovi. They don't listen to me. They go build like yeah, I'm drop shipping little butterfly figurines or something, and I'm getting $3 for each one. I'm like, okay, cool. When
Right.
you're done and you're ready to build a real business that's going to put six figures or seven figures in your bank account, let me
Right.
know. And they
Exactly.
go through it. Then a year later, they come back. They're like, "So hey, Rohan, so can I?" I was like, "Okay, now you're ready, right?" But
Exactly.
it is a mental shift for a lot of people because they want business to be fun. They think it's supposed
Hmm.
to be this fun thing. I'm like, bro, it's just work.
Yeah.
You just change your boss. You just have a different boss now. That boss happens to be yourself, but
Right.
it's a job, right?
Right.
So I'm glad you said that. So cool. Well, are there any last final thoughts or any if you want to put your social media or any projects you're working on, anything you want to share with the people?
Um, I'm honestly so boring. I deleted all my social media. It's like empty because I'm just so locked in on what I'm doing. So and my businesses don't work. That's another thing. I don't have to show my face on social media. So I love that in my line of work. So no social media really anything like that. I am on Facebook. And I do check my messages and stuff there. But if I could leave everybody with anything, it would just be just do it. Literally, like just go out there, just do it, no matter what you have to do. Just believe in yourself and do something that makes sense. Don't, like you said, don't try to go do a very, very niche market. It's not impossible, but you know, boring is where it's at. I've had my maid business almost 7, going on 8 years now, and then the collision center almost 3 years. And I mean, I think that's the way to go. And you can attest to that. So
Yeah. And the construction business is what to be the biggest construction company in the southeast.
I know, and I will tell you, I was the only woman. I was lies. There was one other woman. There was only 2 women in my class, me and one other person, and I was the only minority woman in my
Wow.
class when I was going. So there's a lot of opportunity. It's just
Hmm.
getting out there and doing it. So
Yeah. Well,
that's
cool.
it.
Well, awesome. Nicole, it's been a pleasure just to catch up with you.
Of course,
And I've learned from you on this conversation, which is
really.
wild. Yes, I have learned from you in this conversation, and I'm just really proud of you. I just want you to know that. Like, I want you to know, I'm really proud of you, for real.
Well, thank you, Rohan. It means a lot, especially coming from you. He taught me. I wouldn't say everything I know, but you definitely gave me a good jump start. So
Everything you know, everything. No, I'm kidding. I'm just
definitely a
kidding.
good jump start.
That was a good start. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I can't wait to show Kevin this, man. Like Kevin would have been on this call, but he's driving for Thanksgiving and all that stuff.
Yeah, and
Family
I'm still
first.
working. Everybody's still working. Everybody's taking time off for the holidays, but we're still.
Mm.
It's another day
So
for us.
listen, yeah, Black Friday is coming up. You got any Black Friday sales?
We don't do sales for Black Friday.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
So
that's
you
right.
didn't
We're building boring businesses, right? So they need it or not. You know what I mean?
they
So
need it
yeah,
or not. That's
yeah.
it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, cool, Nicole V. Well, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again for coming on, and I'll send you the link when this goes up, and it's gonna be on the blog, on my social media, on the YouTube. You know,
On the
trying to get the
YouTube.
world to know who you are.
Okay.
I
Have a
know.
good day.
Yeah.